Hello everyone, and welcome to the video for the first week of January. Today is January 6th, Saturday, it's 3 p.m. We're going to review what the market did today, and also I'm going to show you what I do. Well, we're going to discuss what the market did during this week, and also I'm going to show you what I analyze once a week at the end of every week. So this could be either Friday or Friday evening after the market closes around 8 p.m. or market closes at 4 Eastern time actually, and what I do is around after 5 or after 8 p.m. I read the charts and I see what's going on in the market. So I want to start with the QQQs, which was the best. I organized this one by best performer to the lowest performer in the daily activity. So this activity is actually for Friday, January 5th. So we see the daily activity here going up during from the beginning of the year. So the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. Monday was close, so we did have only 4 days of activity during this week, so that was in between Tuesday and Friday. Last Friday we did have the last day of the year. We did have a down day all the way down to the 30 days moving average, which was the resistance for the QQQ. So we had two possibilities at this point. So the first of the year, it could roll down, which was possible. Since this one was in a downtrend, but resistance was found here in the level of 155 area, and the market really bounced back on the first of the year. So expectations on the market are still pretty good, and the technology, which was expected to be down during the first 2 or 3 weeks of January, really didn't do it, and started at least the first week of the year very strong. So what I do once a week at the end of the week, as I said, is to take this daily chart and change it for a weekly chart. I put a 1-year chart on the weekly, and I see and I read what's going on objectively in the market. So see that there's a level here that can serve as a support level if the market goes back, which is right in the middle of this candle for of this weekly candle. So if the market pulls down a little, it's going to encounter a little bit of resistance around this area, and if it's continuous, it's going to find another resistance in the 10 days moving average for the weeklies. And then probably it's going to, if it's broken, then it's going to go down to this area. But the market seems to be very, very strong. At least it started very strong during the week, during this first week of January. Dow Jones Industrial Average ETF, which is the diamonds, DIA, also moved to the upside, as it was the second best performer on Friday, closing at 252.85 on this ETF. So very, very, very strong level. It did not close at this point, but very close. So it closed at 252.72. But the high of the day was 252.85, so closed very, very strong. Spiders, so the S&P 500 ETF also closed very strong at the 273.56, 273.56 42, and then the high of the day was 273.56. So weekly we see that we are clearly in the uptrend. The uptrend has been in place since well, and this last one after this this little pullback right here, it's been moving upwards since August, and this week was the first week of January was really strong on the spiders. IWM, which is the Russell 2000 ETF, also I do have some drawing here, so I'm gonna remove clear drawing sets yes. So we see that it had a little bit of sideways activity. I'm sorry about this. Then and then move sideways and then move down, cross the 30-week moving average, and then resume the uptrend. Went down for a week, stayed around this area, moved down or moved sideways, and then it's resuming the uptrend. So we'll see what's going on. But the first week also very strong for IWM, 0.21% on the last day. This one was actually not not very strong on the daily. So if we go back to the dailies, we put the 6 months. We see that there was you know, a rebound on here. I like it a lot though, because it has also an ascending triangle here. So this one is actually a really nice pattern called ascending triangle here. So you see, I'm gonna paint it so you can see it a little bit better. This one goes here. That one is the resistance level, and then there's a support level horizontal around this area. So we're waiting for it to break this pattern here and move to the upside there. I don't have any positions here, but I do have an alert here that if it moves up above this you know, high level of this ascending triangle, even it could be this area here where it opened, then I could move. Actually, if we take the closing days, the closing or I mean the closing bars, then this was already broken. But I'm going to wait a little bit until it breaks that area. If that happens, then we're going to have a move, which is a move that is going to be, let's say, as a target, could be in between there, duplicate the drawing and move it there. If it breaks there, it's going to be around 162.5. So that would be my target. This one is not a recommendation, but it's my trigger for the entry. This one is a really nice setup, and if it breaks, this is going to be a candidate to enter. As I said, I have here a trigger. I like this pattern, and if it triggers, then I'm going to put a position there. Finally, I review also what happened in the weeklies with the VIX, which measures the fear of the market, as these are put protections against the SPX. Very low level of fear. So we are at the minimum in this area. Sorry about that. So we are at 9. It closed at 922, and on the week, and the low of this week was actually 892. So you can see that here in this area, right up there. Okay, so so that is the week. The market looks looks very, very, very strong on the Qs, on the diamonds and the spiders. So all of them, the indexes are indicating that the pattern should continue. But there's gonna be we could see a reversal back to the mean, which is the 10 days, and then that like it happened here, right? So we took some distance and then we come back. We are taking some distance. We could move horizontally for a couple of weeks. Maybe we can resume the uptrend. I mean, the market has been crazy strong, so we could see a little bit of uptrend still, and then come back or a horizontal movement. That is the probability. It's nobody knows what is going to happen, but if it takes too much distance here, the pullback is going to be a little bit more strong. The other thing that I review are the futures. I do have this one here, which is the futures for the S&P 500, also very strong. I did take a trade during this week. It started on Monday, or I'm sorry, on Tuesday, end of the day, and I kept that one all the way, well, going in and out and escalating the profits in a strategy that is called scaling out. And in this one, if I put the dailies, you will see what I was doing. So I took this trade right in here because I saw that there was a bounce off of this resistance formed in this day here. So it crossed the 10 days moving average, and so I took the trade right here, enjoyed the ride all the way there. I sold it here. And then the next day I took it down here, sold it up there. So I reduced the position, right? So I took, let's say, I'm gonna just put a number. Let's say that you put $1,000 here, then it moves up to, and I made, let's say that you have $1,500 or whatever. Then I sold it and I put $1,000 back. And then it move up to 1,500 again, and I sold it, and I put another position at 1,000 again. So at the end, the trade was for free, and I more than doubled the money on this trade. So yeah, pretty good. If it continues to move up, I'm gonna show you. I have my default drawings here. One of the reasons also that I sold it is I don't want to go back and erase all the profits I made. But if it continues to move up, my next target is going to be 161.8 or 27.86, and then that would be my level to sell again and do kind of like the same thing. What happened is that when it reaches the 161. 70% of the time, this one is going to go back and retest this breakout. So, but there's plenty of movement here. So you see, this uptrend started here on November, middle of November, moved all the way here to the middle of December, stayed horizontal and a little bit back. Horizontally, basically, because this day what happened is that the last half hour of trading it went down, but here there was a bounce in a break of resistance, and that's why I took the trade. So it started to move up there. So interesting trade, lots of profit and lots of money to make on that trade there. I'm going to put this one in on again. One other thing that I check is this. I started to check this Bitcoin futures in the symbol /XBT. So in the daily, you will see that this one was moving to the downside, during the second half of December, and now it broke this level here, moving to the upside. So yeah, the index of the Bitcoin futures is moving to the upside at 770. So I'm gonna move to this graph here. So we'll see the Bitcoin USDT. It's actually at 16,000. I do have also a Fibonacci retracement, or Fibonacci extension painted here. So it moved from this area here, from $5,000 all the way to around $20,000, actually 19,826, and then retrace. So it broke this level here in the 10-day moving average, and moved down. Tested the 38.2%, and then they tested it twice, and then resumed the entrance in a W pattern. So if you see here, there's a line that we can draw right here from this up to the down, then move up, then move down, double bottom, we can argue, in this area here, and then it started to resume the trend to the upside. So targets here, since it came back to the 0.32 level, the target would be 1.61. So around around $29,000 would be nice. The period that it would take, so we would see, it's going to be, I don't, in Bitcoin is kind of tough to predict, but so I don't want to adventure on that one. Bitcoin Cash moving. This one is actually traded in Bittrex. So this one here went down and it's moving sideways. If you see that there's a triangle here, I can paint it real quick. So this one is there, and this one in the other side is there. So if it breaks either way, it's going to duplicate what we see in this area. So most likely, the way that this cryptos has been moving, probably is going to break to the upside. There's a nice volume here. Targets, I'm gonna wait a little bit on this one because it's probably too premature and I don't have enough data in here, I guess. Ethereum has already broke the 1.272, and then it's going to move in this area right here, in between these two lines. It didn't last that much in here. I would say that over $1,000, this one is also a psychological level. This one is also a psychological level. So once it breaks here, now going back to the 900s is going to be difficult for this crypto. So Ethereum moving to the upside very nicely. This one here is holding the level of 2.69. It really moved nicely from this area. I actually took a trade in this area here, and I kept it until there. Probably I'm gonna enter it again once there was a little bit of horizontal movement here, so I took profits and I redistributed. So I will probably re-enter here in the next day or so. Litecoin, this one has been moving to the downside, crossed the 30 days moving average, and today actually resumed the upside. Now we do have an stochastic here that is showing a little bit of recovery, so it seems that it's crossing here. So ready to enter again Litecoin, and ride it with the next target. I think that I have this one. Oh yeah, that one is fine because of that high level here. So there's a retracement here, came back to the 0.61 level. So what I'm gonna do is right now I'm gonna do it with you here. I'm gonna take this one and take remove that one. I'm gonna take a fib, and then I'm gonna see from here to see the extension, right? So I'm gonna take it from here to there, right there. Oop. And then see the next target area is gonna be around the high of this day, which is $417. So that would be a target. Since it retraced that to this area, I would say that my target would be actually around $616 for Litecoin if it holds this this value. So if we see what is the risk of going, because I would put a stop order around this area here. So if the risk reward is going to be from 218 to maybe 220, I'm sorry, 284 to 220, so that is going to be around $60. But then from the 280 around the $300 all the way to the target, which is $600, is substantial. So we'll wait to see the action today and enter it either tonight. Market on the cryptos closes at 7 p.m. So if I would probably make an entry during the afternoon before 7 or after 7 to start moving with this one. Okay, so let's go back to this index here. So let's review the sectors. Best sector for the week. Let's go back here to the week. So best sector yesterday was XLY. I'm going to create a new set here, and I'm gonna put the weekly. So yesterday here moved from okay, so I had to restart the video. I had a little bit of interruption here. So okay, so with the sector of the consumer discretionary SPY, so we did have a very nice uptrend. So what I do here, what I try to analyze is where we're going and where we stand, because if we move a little bit too much away from the mean, then it tends to go back to the mean. So I want to avoid avoid that movement, or be a little bit more conservative. But this week moved pretty high. I don't have any sign that it's going to reverse, but you never know. The only sign that I have is that it's too far away already, according to the history of this histogram. But it doesn't mean that it's not going to continue to grow up. The way that the market is moving up anyways. So what I do based on this one is actually the positions I have. I move the stops up, and then if the market moves down, I'm out, and then I wait for the next entry signal. I'm gonna review also some entry signals. I don't know, probably not today, but in the next video. XLV, the health sector was the one that was The second one that moves moved higher, the highest on Friday. Very nice move during this week also. I'm going to draw another set here so we can have a clean view. So it moved pretty nice to 85.3. XLK technology moved very high. There was some concern that this one was going to cross, just because the distance in between the moving average is kind of like high, but it didn't. So it bounced off of this resistance or support level on the 10-week moving average and moved up. So we see that the uptrend is continuing. So we would expect a continuation of the uptrend on XLK. XLI industrial sector ETF. It's also moving up. If you see once it is far enough, it retraces and goes back to the mean. Nobody knows when this is going to happen, so it could go down or it could go sideways and meet the moving averages at that level up here, but you never know. So that's why you have to have the stops here. XLB for the ETF for materials, for basic materials. I'm going to create another set here. Also moved to the upside, very strong during the week. Last day of the week, or on Friday, moved net of 50 cents. Actually, I just realized that the organization on this one is it was per net, which is a little bit deceiving. So actually what I do is to organize it by percentage. So let's see here. I'm gonna keep doing it this way. So XLP for consumer staples moved and broke resistance in this diagonal line right here and kept moving to the upside. This week did not, was not very strong. But it is ready to resume the uptrend. Also, we see that we have here a resistance level. So if it breaks that resistance, we're going to see all-time high in consumer staples. Also, financials didn't move that much on Friday, but it had a really nice move on the week, and this one is kind of like a bull flag in the weekly. And the underlines that are underneath this XLF, most of them will start earnings on financials in about 2 weeks or 1.5 weeks. We're going to have our first earnings season. So XLF for now, I'm staying away until the earnings seasons happen, and then see what's going on there. XLU in a downtrend, definitely this one has been hammered, but it found a support right here, right? So or it hasn't found support yet, or it's testing this support. So we'll see how it behaves during the next week, and if it's going to resume the uptrend. It's actually in a channel now in XLU. XLE didn't have a good day on Friday, but moving to the upside very nicely. So I'm going to put the 3 years here to see a little bit better. We do have resistance here at the level of 78.3, and then the next resistance level is going to be around this area here. If we see there is a resistance level that was broken by the end of the year, but then on this week moved from 72.37 all the way to 74.97. So close up very nicely. XLE energy. So this pattern here in the long term also, it's a pattern that looks pretty nice. See, I have here the 3 years, and then you see that there's a W, a long-term W actually. So down, up, down, and then this one is actually a higher high, and then up. So if it breaks this level, you know, we will see some. I think that we can see some good, nice moves to the upside. So the other thing that in the weekly, this one also shows that there's a reversal as the 10-week moving average cross the 30 days moving average, like in this area here. See, it moved to the upside, or actually a little bit sideways actually in this one. But you know, if we expand it like this, and then we are conscious of this difference of prices, then we see that there's an upside in a W pattern that it's forming here now in an uptrend. Okay, so the other thing that I see on the monthly basis are my positions. I'm going to show a little bit of this one too. I have this one organized from the best performer on Friday through the worst performer on Friday. There's a lot of them, but so I'm gonna go quickly on the weeklies, and I'm gonna. Oops, sorry about that. So I'm gonna check here, and again. So I'm gonna take this one and check the 6 months, and go through these levels on the different positions I have. And then the other thing that I do is to check my weeklies. My watch list, the MAFC watch list. So they are this here. Every time that I take a position, either by recommendation or because I have it in my watch list, then I enter it in my watch list because I want to see what they perform, and if I exit, I want to enter them again. So if I'm exiting a position here, I'm going to automatically review if it's in my watch list or not. So here on the weekly, I do have. I'm not going to talk that much today about the entries and the exits in here, but just to see what's going on in the weekly candle for this week. This week was very strong for all of them. I took a position in Cilinix on actually on Thursday because I saw that there was a horizontal a diagonal breakout here. So if you see the video on Thursday, I believe you see that I took that position there, and then it moved to 74.15. Took a little bit of since it met my one of my resistance level. I made a good money in only one day. Then what I did was to take one of the three positions I took. I sold it, so I scaled it down. Boeing, I entered this one on Friday actually. Also moving to the upside a little bit. I took it right when it broke this level here on the weekly. So and this happened actually on Friday. But on the weekly it moved to 3089, so it's moving to the upside. See, there's no noise, not that much to argue that this one it's actually an uptrend. So you see higher higher highs and higher lows, and breaking of resistances. So this is a very, very nice pattern. We do have earnings on the 31st of January on Boeing. So before that, my strategy or my rule is that that I exit the trade before the earnings, the day before or the same day, if it's if the earnings report is after the close. T2 or Take Two was also a gainer on this one on last week, making a breakout of this resistance level, and then the next resistance level is I'm gonna put right here. So it could be in this area actually, but I would say that, you know, finally, if it breaks that resistance, now that I'm in the trade, my resistance level for the trade is going to be around this area, right? So I need to protect around there my position, which is very close to where we are now. But if I am not in there, I would wait until this resistance is broken and move to the upside, and then I'm going to take again. So look for the resistance to be broken, and this level here to be served as a support. United Healthcare, another one that gave a good bounce. I took this one. I believe that in this area here, normally the trades I take are very close to the mean, when in this case the 10 period moving average, in this case the weekly. So I take the position here and move there. So if we see the daily on this one, let's see, because I like this trade actually. I'm gonna put the set on the default where I have all my analysis. So here I actually entered this one by the end of last year. It went down the next day on the last day of the year, but then it didn't do that much on Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday really took off, and that is what I'm saying. I do have a resistance level right here, but so I will see how it behaves, and see, and I haven't a stop here. So if it comes back, I'm not going to wait that much for it to be sold. And also because I have the risk of this earnings on the on actually the 16th. Okay, so let's go back here to the weekly, and then go to none, and then so I have LYB to the upside, moving nice, making a good money on that one. A bull flag on the weeklies and moving upwards. EOG also moving after this bull flag, moving upwards. I do have on the 16th also a payment of dividend, but then I have an earnings release on the 26th, so I do have time. Home Depot, just enter it up here. Home Depot is something that you cannot, I cannot be out. I mean, I have make good money on these runs, especially considering that Home Depot is one of the ones that benefit the most off of the hurricanes and stuff like that. So the expectation is that the sales of Home Depot start to consolidate, right? QQQ to the upside, moving fine. Nike, I do have some of them withdrawing, so we see clearly that it's in an uptrend. You know, a similar low, and then a resistance here in the weekly. Diamonds, we saw that one already. I do have a position in diamonds, moving to the upside. MMM or 3M, also moving and bouncing in the uptrend. HON took a position around this area also. This was this Honeywell. There's a bull flag, clearly there's a bull flag right here, moving sideways in a bull flag pattern. My expectation is that this one is going to resume and move in this period from here, which is August through November, August, September, October, November. So about three months of uptrend and then a consolidation. So I would say that if this area is broken here, it's already the bull flag was formed, and the trigger was actually triggered off of this level here. So I took the trade, and I would expect that this one goes to the upside. So if I show you the bull flag, actually I took a little bit of shorter term bull flag on this one. So here moved sideways, and I entered that here, expecting this one to move to the 200 or 161 to 200 because of this retracement. It's not that much. So this one would be my first target, 161. The 200 would be the second one, and then go from there. Okay, so spiders up, everything is up. DG, I took this trade off of this bull flag also, moving pretty nice the first week of the month. I took Tesla also. Tesla, even though if it's in a horizontal move, this one is actually in a channel. So off of this level all the way to this level. So I would expect, and I did do a long call vertical on this one, just because I don't think that it has too many resistance levels to move across to be considered as a long call, just a long call, or a good move. So like in this case, right? So it moved up here and then came down, and then once it crosses this level here of resistance, then you look for higher highs, but then moved violently to the upside and then comes back. So these things we have to be careful on the pullback. See, it moved away too much off of this moving averages, so comes back. So this one here, I would expect that move horizontally, so that's why I put a 300 level vertical there. A VGO moving to the upside also, in the same pattern. This one I entered it on Friday actually, as it bounced off of this bull flag. See, this bull flag is kind of like nice. We have from here all the way up and then go down and then moving up. So I probably have a shorter term bull flag like in the other one. So let me see on the dailies right here. See, there's a bull flag that I see from this area to this area, or from this area to there, and then pull back, and then there's also a diagonal that was formed and broken on Friday. So let me show you here what I'm talking about. So from here, moved to the upside, and then retraced to this level here, and then pulled up. I entered this YAM on Friday after it broke. After it broke, I'm gonna paint it actually. After it broke this, diagonal right here. See, boop. Okay, so it broke, and then so I took the trade, and also it was at a support level on the 10 days and 30 days moving average. So everything looks good on this one. We'll see if it performs. Then the dairy, I took a position here also, or I do have a position in here for some time. AXP moving to the upside. So this is what I do normally on all of my positions on the weekly, once a week. So I do this every week to see if the uptrend continue. If not, I'm gonna be out anyway. So I took also First Solar in this bull flag, GLW also breaking up, JBHT also broken off of resistance. I have this one probably around this area actually. GoPro, go to the video that I did on Thursday. This one was actually really bad trade, a failure. Costco, on the weeklies, Costco is playing with me. One of the reasons why I don't enter trades in this area is because they have troubles to keep going up like Costco. So if we go to the default drawing, I'm going to show you exactly what I mean on this one. So this one retraced actually. I'm going to put the 6 months and retrace. It went all the way from here. So I did take a trade from here and I sold it around this area, but then it kept moving up and then it retraced. So it reached this area here. So I took the trade right here. Probably a little bit premature, thinking that it was going to bounce, but you never know, right? So I took it there, didn't move up, and continued to move sideways, and then forming this kind of U pattern that I like a lot. But then it moved down on Friday. So the first 1-2 days of the trading days, Tuesday and Wednesday, moved up very nicely. I was very happy. But then retraced, took this high level, open up here, and then went back down to the mean. We'll see how it does, what it does. I would expect, and I haven't sold this one yet because it hasn't encountered my stop, which is this area right here, right? So you see that there's 1, 2, and then this area here of, I would say 2, 3, 4 points of contact, kind of with the 61.8 level, and then it's right in the resistance for the moving averages. And the last one is MU Micron. So Micron here is in the weekly, also moving and bouncing off of this sell-off that so we do have, I did take this trade off of this bull flag right here, so around this area, and then thinking that this one is going to resume. So I did, and it was after the earnings also. So this week was the earnings. It made an attempt to go back to this mean, but it failed. And then the beginning of this year resumed the movement to the upside. So I took the trade on this one, and all of these are February options. So I don't think that I have any positions. I may have a couple of them, but most of the positions are already rolled to February, just because I don't want to, I reduce the risk on I want time for these patterns to keep going up, so in that way I can keep my stops not that tied with the trade. Now if I see some signs of retracement, like then I'm gonna sell, but I'm not gonna sell if it's only for 1 day. So that's the video that I have for today. hopefully you have done well with your trades as I have done. I mean, this has been a terrific, awesome first week of 2018. So you know, we are at a level that it's really impressive. All right, so I'm gonna make another video on Monday. So, and on Monday I'm gonna review some setups that I have, and if they triggered or not to exit trades. Well, right, some setups to wait for the trigger, and also some setups for selling some of the ones that I already have. So one thing that I do is to sell before I buy. So obviously, because if not, I wouldn't have you know, money to trade. But you know, first of all, I review the ones that I have to get rid of, just because they either met the target or met the stop, and then look for these setups with the triggers, and wait for the trigger. So if the trigger triggered actually during the day, and I look at the graph also, and make a decision to enter if the trigger is not, or the price of these of the underlying is not far away from my trigger, if I didn't enter it right away. Okay, so that's the video for today. Hopefully you enjoy it. If you want to follow me, just click on the follow me down below the video, and if you want to make any comments, that would be great, so I can improve the video itself. Or if you have questions, not guarantee that I'm gonna respond them. Don't get mad at me, but I do have a lot of stuff to do. But I will try to respond to them and help on your analysis. Okay, thank you, and have a great weekend, and have a good trade week next week.